We're off to Vegas, J-Man. All right, Sin City. It's a big weekend in Vegas, actually. The only reason I know that is because my in-laws are huge Browns fans and they go to a road game every single year, like a big group. So Browns Raiders in the Poop Bowl, like that game is going to be an absolute disaster. I don't think anyone cares, but I know Browns fans are going to invade Vegas. F1 is happening or something in Vegas. My father-in-law is a big car guy. He used to work at Honda, so he's there. Like I know that's happening. But also, we got Kansas, Notre Dame. They're colliding in the Players Era Festival. Kansas coming off of an inspiring effort against your Duke Blue Devils, where Fleury Badunga and Trey White carried the load. Right, I thought it was a very, very good effort. Meanwhile, Notre Dame off to a 4-1 start, but they haven't really played anyone. If we're being honest, their one loss came to a pedestrian, tepid Ohio State, who I'm just not buying. That being said, Marcus Burton leads the team as a bucket getter, but I would argue, J-Man, their most valuable player is Carson Tout, especially with his activity on the glass. I'm Subi, J-Man over here. Let's start with the men from South Bend, if you don't mind, okay? I
Yep.
have long stated when he was at Penn State, I've been a Micah Shrewsbury guy. You must be the other guy, right? Like The Departed, Mark Wahlberg. He's like, I'm the guy that does his job. You must be the other guy. I'm a Micah Shrewsbury guy. It's getting tougher and tougher, though, because he's yet to finish above 500 at Notre Dame. He's now in his third year. What is the key in your eyes or keys for Notre Dame getting a signature win against Kansas, regardless if Darren Peterson plays or not?
I mean, it's just you got to start at the top. Marcus Burton, he's got to have a big game. Like he's been the one X factor for them. Though they've struggled under Shrewsbury so far in his tenure, Marcus Burton is just a walking microwave. Like he is a microwave scorer, and with no Darren Peterson that is standing across from him, obviously counsels the guy that's going against him, but he's got to have a big game if they want any chance in the world to upset Kansas. Marcus Burton's got to have at least 25 in this game, and he's more than capable. The dude's had big games in his career. He's averaging 19, almost 20 points a game this season. But then who steps up with him? Like inevitably, like I said, Bill Self, what he did against Duke was fascinating with the way they really try to limit Cam Boozer, made him work. Who's the next guy up for Notre Dame to help out Marcus Burton when inevitably they're going to double a ball screen? When he has to throw a skip pass, is it going to be Braden Shrewsbury? We're going to have a big Shrewsbury game right here, and he's going to be an X factor and just knock him down on the other side of a skip pass? Is he going to give us 15, 20? Who knows? But it's got to be Marcus Burton first and foremost to have a big game for the Fighting Irish, and then a Robin has to step up and be like, "Hey, I will." When you were in a 6 minute scoreless drought because they're blitzing you so hard, I got the keys right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. A lot is going to fall on Marcus Burton's shoulders, unfortunately, but them's the breaks in terms of roster construction.
Yeah.
Also want to point out real quick, J-Man, for our viewers that we are recording this late night, November 20th. We don't know the status of Darren Peterson. We've joked about like how we're using the term what did they say? And out
Indefinitely.
indefinitely. I think he's a game time decision or he's questionable. Who knows what's going on with Peterson? So obviously that'll change. But why don't we do this? Why don't we operate as if he's not going to play because we know
Yeah.
hammies are tough. My question on the Kansas side is, can they get going from three? Right now, they can't shoot from the perimeter. They simply aren't scoring the ball from three. But that could be the difference, honestly, between a comfortable win and a dogfight. And I can tell you right now, Kansas and their fans do not want to be in a dogfight. This is a possible emotional letdown spot in the sense that you just played Duke and MSG, right? And so now you got to go all the way across the country to Vegas against a team that's worse than Duke for sure. And you got up, you played Duke so well, so hard, undermanned, and now you got to get back up off the mat and do it again. And I think Kansas will, right? But if they're able to get going from three, it'll be a comfortable victory. If it's a dogfight, I don't know. Tired legs, travel, it could play a role here. So I think that's going to be a key. I do think this is going to be a sloppy game, J-Man. Both of these teams average like double digit turnovers. And usually when we're on courts that they're not used to playing, fresh courts, right? Different, like the logos, all that stuff. I think people are going to be slipping and sliding around. The ball is going to be going all over the yard. These are two teams that don't necessarily take care of the ball all that much thus far. And that's a little bit shocking for Notre Dame because, again, they haven't really played anyone. Kansas, on the other hand, has played Carolina and Duke. But I foresee this possibly being a sloppy game. And then another key for Kansas, for me, keeping Notre Dame off the offensive glass, which I think they will do. Like, I don't think that'll be too much of a struggle because the front line for Kansas is just, I'm going to say it, just miles better than Notre Dame. And I'd be shocked if they got outplayed.
Yeah, my key for Kansas in this, and you're right, like the front court for Kansas is just, I mean, the NIL speaks for itself when Flory Badunga. And the key for Kansas for me is for Badunga with no Darren Peterson, he is your best player. And he was your best player going on the court against Duke, and he shot the third most shots. And that is something that cannot happen. He needs to be the guy that you feed, and you feed him like the Grinch and how Grinch stole Christmas, and he's about to throw up as he's just on that chair and he's just ready to puke his brains out because he has 25 shot attempts. That's what Flory Badunga needs. Not Melvin Council. Melvin Council shot 15 shots against Duke. He probably needed to shoot 3, and all of them had to be Mike and drill layups around the rim. Him shooting 15 shots, that's 20% of Kansas' shots last game was from Melvin Council. That is how you lose ball games, and that's how you lost against Duke. It wasn't that he didn't have Darren Peterson. Melvin Council shot 4 threes and he made 1 in the game in all year. So my point is, Ford Badunga needs to be the guy that he's going to have. I can just close my eyes and picture 25 and 15. I can just picture it against Notre Dame. And that needs to happen. You got to feed him the ball, and you need Cole Rosario to give you something. He was my X factor for the Duke game. Shout out Trey White. I overlooked Trey White just a little bit, and he absolutely balled against Duke. I'm not going to overlook Trey White in this. I think he's going to be fine for Kansas and Notre Dame, but Cole Rosario was my X factor, and he did nothing. He was 2 of 7, 0 of 5 from 3 against Duke. He needs to bounce back because he's starting for a reason at Kansas as a freshman. He's got to prove it. I know he's sliding in the role because Peterson's out, but you got to give him something. And if he gives him something along with Tiller, with him in the front court, with the way he can shoot the rock, Kansas can really roll. I truly believe in this Kansas team to be, even without Darren Peterson, say, indefinitely is indefinitely, because there's no need to rush him back really until December. And without him, I think this is still a very talented team. And I think they kind of fell into that against Duke when they were basically, speaking of Vegas, it's like, hey, we have house money here. Everybody's thinking we're going to roll over and lose by 20 to Duke. And, it was a rock fight in the first half till Badunga went out. And I think they found something. Just Melvin Council, don't shoot the damn ball and facilitate. And Badunga, give him 25 and 15. And I think Kansas will take care of business against Notre Dame. But again, Notre Dame has Marcus Burton, and he might give you 30, and who knows?
Those guys are scary to play against when you have one dude that can just go off.
Yeah.
I trust Kansas's defense. I know I was a little critical of Kansas's defense, but upon further review and looking at how they're playing, it's actually not too bad. They get up in you, and I do like Cole Rosario, especially on the defensive end. I think it's fair to ask for a little bit more, especially in this spot. So we'll see what he can produce. I'm glad you mentioned Trey White. I am expecting him to continue to ascend. He's got a confidence booster right now. Like, there's no reason for him to not play with confidence in this particular ball game, and they're going to need him, certainly. Like, I think Bill Self's message is, hey, look, I know it was easy to get up for Duke when everyone was counting you out, but we're back in a comfortable spot of being a favorite, and this is what needs to happen, right? Like, all the guys need to bring their hard hats, but I just think there's no real resistance from the Irish for the front. Like, I just don't see them having any sort of answers, right, for Tiller. But here's what I'll say also, Bryson Tiller, man, stop racking up those fouls.
Yeah.
Please. Like, he's low-key playing like Karl Anthony Towns. I know I feel like I've made a lot of NBA references, but man, some of these fouls, you got to stay on the court, big fella.
Yeah.
You're too valuable.
Yeah, no, that's a great point because he is too valuable. He fouled out in the Carolina game, and he was cooking in that game. And so he has to stay on the court for them. And I just know the film session with Bill Self with his team was not a pretty one against Duke, to where they are going to be hungry against a Fighting Irish team that, is unfortunately for them, they're in the way of Kansas. I think they're going to bounce back in this game. But with Notre Dame, it's just like I need to see some fire into them. Like they only have three players to score in double figures for them. So like I talked about Shrewsbury being the Robin, but give us some production off the bench against Kansas, because you're gonna have to use it. You're gonna have to need it. And I don't know who that could be. Sir Muhammad, shout out Sir Muhammad from Charlotte, Charlotte's own.
All right.
And look, 21 points a game. That's gonna be, you know what? That's gonna be my guy. That is gonna be my guy to be like, hey, come off the bench. He's coming off of what, 17? I can't read ESPN. ESPN.com. Don't get me started on this app. He had played 18 minutes, only had one field goal attempt last game with 0 points. But against Ohio State, in the 1 point loss, he had 8 points off the bench, 4 of 8 from the field. And so he also, I think he had a good game against Duke randomly last year. So he's proven that he can step up and do something. And they're going to need him from that. They're going to need Sir Muhammad to be Nazir Muhammad's son, by the way.
Is
To
it okay? It really?
Yeah, I'm almost 1,000,000% positive, because Nazir obviously played for Charlotte Bobcats. Sir Muhammad went to Myers Park, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, him and Isaiah Evans played against each other in high school.
That make you feel
So,
old? Nazi Muhammad's kid, you got Carmelo's kid, all these kids.
but Sir Muhammad is going to be a guy for me. I know it's only 5 points on the season, but look, he gives them 12 points. All of a sudden, maybe they're in the game. Maybe it's an 8 point game at half or something. They can figure something out at the break. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think I'd mentioned this. I'm not foreseeing Kansas suddenly turning into this 3-point threat. That being said, Notre Dame on the flip side has shot the ball well from deep. But again, just got to take Notre Dame's performances with a grain of salt, because they have not played anyone. And I think they're going to run into some serious issues against a hungry Kansas team. And so, J-Man, I don't know. This is college basketball in a nutshell. Prior to the Kansas Duke game, I said, there's no path. I don't see a path. And Kansas almost pulled that out. They were certainly competitive.
They did.
And I didn't think they were going to be competitive, right? In this game, Notre Dame is playing the role of Kansas from the previous game in my mind, in the sense that I just don't see a path unless Marcus Burton goes crazy, and yeah, maybe he gets some sufficient help as well. But I think Kansas is going to have to shoot themselves in the foot. I think Darren Peterson's going to have to not play for this to be a Notre Dame victory. But with that, we'll get to predictions. What do you got in this one?
Yeah, so I mean, Ken Palm has it as a 6 point game, 75-69. Kansas, I think it's going to be, I like Kansas by double digits. Like, I really think if Notre Dame has a chance, Marcus Burton has to have 25 plus. And then, like I said, Shrewsbury maybe 15 plus. And even then, just don't know. I think this, I think Bill Self sat down with Melvin Council, like, hey, 3 shots a game from here on out, and he's going to have 10 plus assists. And Badunga's going to eat. So I'm going to go Kansas. I think this is the first game without even Darren Peterson that they're going to score 80 points in the season. They have yet to do that. This is the first game. 81-67 Kansas.
Let me ask you this. If Melvin Council's shots, I'm not asking him to get like 9 or 10 shots up. That's fine. But like if the shots he takes, let's say the 5 or 6 range, maybe 7, are at the rim, because he's really good off the bounce. He's so quick.
Yeah.
Is that all right with you? Like just no jumpers.
Yes, that's okay with me. If I
All
see
right.
this dude pull up from 3, I'm hitting the horn before Bill Self does, and I'm on my couch. I'm on my couch doing that.
Dude, you had the funniest breakdown. Obviously, you were breaking down a Melvin Council shot, but the funniest part was Bill Self's reaction. Just yeah.
I thought he was seriously going to die of a heart attack or just resign right there when that shot hit clanked. I mean,
you never want to elicit that reaction from your coach. I'm actually in a little bit more in line with Ken Palm here. I think Kansas wins this 78-69. I don't know if they'll eclipse 80, but I just think they got way more horses, and the front line is going to be a lot better. Flory Badunga is one of the most efficient players in the entire country. And maybe you were like, hey, I want to see his numbers a little bit less efficient because he's probably so efficient because he's not shooting the ball as much as we want him to be.
True.
Right.
True.
So I got Kansas winning this one 78-69. Again, we're operating as if Darren Peterson is not going to be playing. That's a big storyline. Hopefully he's all right. So we'll see. Hey, before we get on out of here, this might become a little theme or tradition with us on previews and recaps, J-Man. You hit me with a little nugget, and that was with respect to Donovan Atwell and his field goal attempts. I want to hit you with a trivia question / nugget, okay?
Yeah.
Over the last 8 seasons, do you know how many times Notre Dame has finished under 500?
Ooh. All 8.
No.
No.
Damn.
Under
Dude,
500?
that's a hater remark.
I was thinking Mike Bray, the end of Mike Bray Sr. was a dark place. So 6.
Close. 5.
5.
I
Yeah.
mean, so respect to you for maybe you weren't that shocked, but that was a bit shocking to me, man, because you're right. The end of the Mike Bray era, his last year was 11-21. Micah comes in 13-20 first season, second season, he's 15-18, right? So that's 3 right there. In 2018, 2019, Mike Bray finished 14-19. And then in 2020, 2021, COVID, I believe that was the season, 11-15. The point that I'm making is like the Pat Connaughton days, Steve Vasturia, Matty Farrell, man, Bonzi. Yeah, like those guys, it just they should have beat that nasty Kentucky team in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And I know Notre Dame's a football school for sure. But the fact that they've only had 3 winning seasons in the last 8 is just crazy to me. Playing in the ACC like this. Yeah. So this is a massive opportunity for Micah Shrewsbury to, put the right step forward. But I think we got Kansas winning this game.
Yep. Got Kansas the whole way. So Rock Chalk Jayhawk this time, but not the previous game.
Yep. Whatever happens, we will be here to recap. Actually, I think you and Dion are going to recap this one. It should be fun. Enjoy the rest of Feast Week. As always, continue to tap into Sleepers, subscribe, like, and we'll have more previews and recaps coming for you the rest of the season.